Hey everybody, it's Katie. I just wanted to do a little update about basically how breastfeeding is going with our second child, like lessons learned. In general, this second time around, it's been easier just having been through it before and kind of knowing what things should feel like and a little bit of what to expect. But I think the most important thing I learned with Alice, the first time around is just to, if something's not right, to get the help that I need and really advocate for myself and for my baby. And I the first time around, I guess I located the resources that I needed. I think that's the most important thing. You just don't suffer in silence, So this time around, I've been just proactive from the beginning. We are 2 months in at this point. I will say it's amazing. I guess to start at the beginning, having home birth this time and having no separation, between me and August, it's just been so different, and I think that it's really made everything so much easier. We really had like skin to skin from the first moment, and from that first moment that he was born, everything was just perfect. With Alice, it was so different because we were in a hospital and they sort of did like nominal skin to skin, but then they took the baby a lot, and then she ended up being sick and she was in the NICU, and we just had tons of separation. It was just a completely different thing. With August, like I said, it's just been, ideal, and he's been able to nurse on demand from the very first moments. So, our first day, everything was pretty much normal. The second day, I think I was really sleep deprived, and I just wasn't paying a lot of attention to his latch, and he had gotten kind of sloppy. And again, I just kind of let it go, and then I ended up paying for it. I had a lot of pain, and just my nipples getting really irritated. I think part of that was that on the second day, my milk still hadn't come in, and so I think it was, he didn't have the motivation to latch really well because he wasn't getting that much. So on the third day, my milk came in, and I made it latch day. Every time he nursed that day, I just made it a point of trying the latch over and over and over again until it was perfect. And by the end of that day, we kind of had it down. He had a little bit better idea of what to do, and I was definitely feeling better. I had just a little bit of engorgement that the first few days when my milk was coming in, but no leaking, no black ducks or anything like that, no real discomfort. His first month of life was pretty much perfect. We just had no issues. He was nursing about every 2 hours at night, and during the day he would cluster feed a lot. He gained weight really fast in the first month. He had gained 3 pounds up from his birth weight. So the kid likes to eat, and he, regardless of any little latch problems, he's definitely getting what he needs. At the start of the second month, we started having a little bit more issues. He just started getting a little bit fussier. He seemed gassier. He was spitting up more. He was just doing these kind of silent scream kind of grimaces that seemed like he was having stomach cramps and stuff. And I know with Alice, I had oversupply issues, and I know that I have a forceful letdown. I can feel that, and I could tell that he was kind of struggling to keep up. I don't know why he's just started having a problem. Maybe my supply had increased over that month, and so around the 4-week mark, he just started not being able to cope with it as much, or maybe my letdown had just gotten that much stronger. But I could tell that he was gulping, and he would break the latch sometimes, and he was just getting really sloppy. Milk would leak out of the side of his mouth and stuff like that. So after about 2 weeks of seeing some of these issues, I visited the drop-in breastfeeding resource center that I have here, where I could see a lactation consultant for free. So I did that. I just wanted to make sure that I wanted her to check the latch and make sure that he didn't have any anatomical issues, like a lip tie or something like that might be causing problems. I do feel like his upper lip frenulum is a little bit short, definitely shorter than Alice's was, so that may be, he may have a little bit of an issue there. She said she thought it was a little bit tight but not crazy, but that he does have a really high palate, and that can sometimes cause latch problems. regardless, she didn't really think it was a latch issue. She thought it was, again, my oversupply and my forceful letdown. So based on some ideas she gave me there, I started block feeding. And that is just nursing, like just offering one breast at a time for a length of time. And what I started with was like every 2 to 3 hours. So pretty much like I would just feed on one side for a feeding. And, you know, if he wanted to nurse like within a few hours, like or a couple hours time period, I would just offer that same breast again. And that helps lower your supply just a little bit. It helps just like completely empty the breast and kind of like signal to your body to just not be so crazy. So I have been block feeding for about a month now, and I'm happy to report that I think that has worked for us. There were a couple of things I was going to try, but this was sort of the easiest and cheapest. A couple of the things I would have done would have been to like hand express or pump a little bit when I like take him off the breast when I feel the letdown, and express that milk that's like going to be the most forceful, and then put him back on. I know sometimes when babies have these gassiness and fussiness issues, they can benefit from chiropractics or acupuncture. That was something like a not cheap option that could have been on the table. Also changing my diet and eliminating dairy or something. But like I said, I really think that block feeding has kind of done the trick for us. We'll see if anything changes going forward. Next week I go back to work part-time, but I have been pumping just slightly. I didn't want to increase my supply, but I've just been pumping a little bit to have a little bit of a freezer stash for when I do go back to work, and Mike will give August a bottle during that time. With Alice, we sort of made the mistake of not teaching her to use a bottle. I just was so scared of like nipple confusion. I thought that it was just this guaranteed thing if your baby has a bottle like in its first month or something, or the first couple of months, that automatically they're just gonna like reject the breast, and you're just gonna have all these issues. With Alice, she never took a bottle, and it was a source of great stress. So with August, we were a little bit more intentional. At about the 3.5 week mark, I think, for him, we gave him the first couple of bottles, and he's done okay. He's not awesome at it. The lactation consultant thought that that was probably his high palate, that babies with high palates often have problems with bottles. The other different thing we're doing with him is that we are using pacifiers. Again, I introduced it after the first month, but with Alice, she rejected all false nipples, we always said. She just wanted nothing to do with any of that stuff. But with August, it has really helped him just settle, and also just cry, you know, when all of his needs are taken care of, but he still just wants to like kind of fuss and cry. Having the pacifier really pacifies him. Like, I guess that's what they're for. And that has really brought peace to our house, just because Alice gets stressed out when he's crying a lot. So it has been totally worth it. And the other super awesome thing is that we have not had any thrush. It's something I battled with Alice for the full 2 years on and off. And just, man, knock on wood, that's not something we deal with this time around, because it's really a drag. So that's all I have to report at this point. Things are really good. I don't know if I'll continue to make like specific breastfeeding updates, as long as we're just still smooth sailing. As things come up, you know, as needed, then I may make updates. But I guess if there are any specific questions you have, let me know. At this point, he is nursing at night about every 3 to 4 hours at 2 months old. And during the day, it's about that, I guess, too. Just, you know, depending on his mood and stuff. Day to day, it's a little bit different. But I guess averages out to be maybe every 2 or 3 hours during the day. I don't know. I feel like everything has fallen into place, and I'm just not even having to give it a lot of thought. So anyway, big thumbs up for our breastfeeding success. I don't take it lightly. Thanks for watching, guys.